What's cracking, guys? Bruce Madsen here, your host show, Metric Scout, Fantasy Football, and about once every month, I go through ADP for running backs, receivers, quarterbacks, tight ends, you name it, I do it. I go up and down the ADP, and I try to find values for us to capitalize on, for us to talk about, for me to give you guys ideas for the trade market in your Dynasty League. Some of these players are buys. Some of these players are sells. Some of these players, there's no way you're going to get on your market. But for the other guy watching the video, he might be able to. But honestly, I'm just here to give you some fresh ideas. Today, I'm going to give you 3 running backs that you can try to attempt to buy low in your Dynasty Fantasy Football League, or sell them, whatever you want to do. But I'm talking about these players. They have some cheaper values in Dynasty ADP for the month of May, and I think we need to talk about it. But before we do, smash that like button. Hitting that like button helps the video out on the algorithm. It floats it around the YouTubes so people can watch it. If you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. Every subscription matters. It helps fuels the channel. I drop a lot of videos, drop a lot of Dynasty Fantasy Football content, redraft content, just about anything fantasy football, and it's all year long. You don't have to agree with every single thing, but I'm here to help you out. With that being said, let's look at 3 running backs that we can buy in Dynasty Fantasy Football right now. The first running back I'm going to talk about today is a cheap running back. Just about everybody could probably get this guy on the cheap in their Dynasty League. He's an older running back. He's been productive off and on throughout his career. Re-signed with his team and is dirt cheap. He's being drafted around 143 overall, the running back 43, so around the RB 45 range if you want to round it up or whatever. And I'm talking about Melvin Gordon, running back for the Denver Broncos. And this guy's been productive even though he's aging. He rushed for 918 yards and 8 touchdowns last year, 4.5 yards per attempt, 3.12 yards after contact per attempt, 23 runs of 10 yards or more, 6 runs of 15 yards or more, 7 yards after the catch per reception, and he also caught 28 balls. Of course, he's going to be sharing the backfield with Javonte Williams. That's why he's so cheap right now in ADP, because everyone's expecting Javonte Williams to get the workload, and he should. He's the younger guy. They spent that draft capital for them to use him, for them to get the most out of him. He's the younger running back, the young horse. Melvin Gordon's the old guy. But you know what? Attrition happens to running back. Something could happen to Williams. Melvin Gordon steps in. Or these guys are just sharing the workload like last season. It's just the same thing over again. And what I'm talking about is last year he had 4 RB1 weeks, 3 RB2 weeks, so he was very productive from a fantasy football sense. And it was very frustrating to people who just wanted to see Javonte Williams break out. And we got glimpses. We had some games. We've had our moments, but we did not get it in the full effect. And mainly because Melvin Gordon played good. He played well. Now he's dirt cheap. He's free. What would I pay for him in Dynasty Fantasy Football? I'm just throwing cheap offers out. Just see what I can get, honestly. If I can get him for free, damn near free on the trade market, I'm going to do it. If I can't, it is what it is. I'm not going to bury myself trying to trade for Melvin Gordon, an older running back. But if I can get him for a cheap pick or something like that, sure, I'm going to try and do so. That way I have an extra running back on my roster who could potentially give me some production for 2022. If I'm lucky, 2023. I'm not expecting to get a lot out of them. If I'm in a startup draft and it's getting late in that startup draft, I'm in round 14, 12, 13, whatever, those teens, and Melvin Gordon's on the board, and there's not many productive running backs left. I might get him as an insurance policy for this season. And therefore, the younger guys, while I'm waiting for them to develop, I can put them in my lineup here and there to see what happens. There's no sunk cost. Something happens to him. If he doesn't pan out or Javonte Williams just becomes the guy, no loss. But Melvin Gordon does have some opportunity here. It could be the same as last year. He could give you a few RB1 weeks, a few RB2 weeks, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of nothing. You know the deal with these older ancillary running backs. The cliff's coming, of course, but we're not paying for anything. We're just seeing what can happen. Ideally, it'd be like our RB4, 5, 6, 7, and we just throw him in a pinch if need be, or we use him if he becomes the lead dog if something happens to Javonte Williams. The second running back I'm talking about today, this guy is actually the main dog in his backfield. He is expected to shine this year. He's expected to get a heavy workload. He's in a good offense. He's in an offense that runs a lot of plays. They're very quick between plays. They're efficient. They sling the ball downfield. They move the chains. I'm talking about James Conner, running back for the Arizona Cardinals. Chase Edmonds is gone. They drafted Keontae Ingram in the 6th round. They got Benjamin, who's another 6th rounder, another late round guy behind him. So there's not much promise behind James Conner. This is his backfield. He has been productive throughout his career, even back in his days at Pittsburgh, even with him sharing the backfield last year with Chase Edmonds. He rushed for 771 yards. 16 touchdowns. Of course, those touchdowns are going to regress, but he's in an opportunity to see a sizable workload. He averaged 2.8 yards after contact per attempt last year, caught 38 passes. He had 5 RB1 weeks and 4 RB2 weeks. Those stats were buoyed by those touchdowns, of course, but he's going to be the guy seeing the rock. He's going to be the guy getting those red zone looks, and he's going to have opportunities to score each and every week. They don't want Kyler Murray running around as much. It's going to happen. He's going to be taking off with the football, but if they can hand it off to Conner along the goal line, save him a little bit, they'll do it. Also, Conner's just a big physical back that gets it done between the tackles. They've increased their firepower at wide receiver this offseason by getting Marquise Brown. So this could be an interesting offense going forward here in 2022. The third running back I'm going to be talking about today is a running back I think I've talked about before in other videos. I'm pretty sure, but I've had some market changes that came my way that I feel like I need to bring him up again. And this is my channel, so if I want to bring him up every month, I can, but I'm not going to do that. But this running back was a former first-round pick, very athletic, very productive during his days at college. Didn't play last year. A lot of people are very intrigued of what he can do this season. And I'm talking about Travis Etienne of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He has an ADP of 47. So getting drafted around 50th player off the board. Running back 19 off the board. So around the running back 20 range. And what I like about him is he's getting a lot of publicity right now in social media. If you're in a league that is not attuned to that, you may be able to catch him a little bit on the cheap. Other leagues are going to be expensive. I saw a guy, no lie today, ranked him in the top 10 of his running backs. I know that's stupid. I don't fully agree with it. I haven't really conceptualized it. I do like Etienne for what he is, but I'm all about value, as you know. Pretty much every video is about value. But there are some cool things in his profile. During his days at Clemson, he rushed for 4.51 yards after contact per attempt on his career, had 85 runs of 15 yards or more, 13 yards after the catch per reception. He's only 23 years old. He's going to give you a little bit of an insurance policy against that running back reset that I keep talking about. A lot of these older running backs are in jeopardy. We're going to start seeing some of these guys fall off the cliff, and we're going to need some of these younger running backs on our roster to offset things. The caveat to that, or the negative portion of that, is he's kind of expensive. He is very expensive to get off trades. You may be able to get him in your startup drafts. There are some leagues where, since he's been sitting on the taxi squad, the bench, the IR, you may be able to catch him at a decent price point. There's all kinds of dynasty leagues out there, and he's going to be valued differently depending on who your league mates are. I see it different ways. You might be able to catch him at a good price point, especially if you're creative, dealing off some of your older veterans that you don't like anymore. But I feel like since he's a 23-year-old running back, he's connected to Trevor Lawrence, new coaching staff. We're going to eventually see him healthy on the field. Hopefully, we have some good indicators from his production, from his days in Clemson. It could be wheels up here for Travis Etienne. That's it. Those are my 3 buys at running back for the month of May. Let me know in the comments who you're buying. Let me know if you're trying to buy any of these guys or if you're against it. These are really guys that I'm just giving you ideas on. Next month I'll have 3 different guys or 2 or whatever, and I'm just trying to help you guys out. Be active in your dynasty leagues. Activity is the most important thing. You just can't let your team sit there, let them rot. Make sure you're putting in offers, you're looking at other rosters, you're making moves, you're looking at the waiver wire, you're turning that back part of your dynasty team, making it better, you're being creative and everything else. If anything, this is just a guideline of players that are a little bit cheaper in ADP that you can capitalize off on. But let me know in the comments what you think. You're buying, you're selling, whatever. Who you trying to get right now? I know sometimes you guys like to pop off in the comments about other guys you're trying to buy. I love it. I love hearing about that stuff. Keep it up. But I want to thank you again. Hit that subscribe button on the way out. Really helps the channel. More viewers, the better. But I want to thank you, and I'll catch you next time.